Discover the heartwarming moment when my daughter, 12, shockingly chose her husband over me. The evening sun cast a soft glow over Maplewood, where laughter bubbled around the community center at the annual spring festival. Tom, a devoted father, stood amidst the bustling crowd, surrounded by the sweet scent of homemade pies and the cheerful sounds of families sharing stories. At 40, he embodied the hard-working American spirit, juggling multiple jobs to make ends meet but never missing a chance to support his spirited 12-year-old daughter, Lily. Tonight felt like a reward, a moment to put aside the daily grind and embrace the joy of community. Just as he found comfort in familiar faces and the rhythmic beat of children's laughter, Lily stepped onto the makeshift stage, bright-eyed, slightly trembling, and filled with an energy that made Tom's heart swell with pride. But then, the ground shifted beneath him. "Everyone! I have an announcement," she declared, her voice crystal clear yet quivering. "I'm going to marry Jake." Tom's heart dropped. Instantly, the laughter faded. Confusion rippled through the crowd like a sudden gust of wind. Was this a joke? Panic surged through him as he replayed memories of the little girl who once wore sparkles and princess dresses. For a moment, the world blurred, leaving only the weight of those words hanging in the air. Was he losing his little girl? "Tom, is she joking?" someone whispered, laughter replaced by shocked murmurings. Friends exchanged glances, uncertainty thickening the atmosphere. Yet, Tom's eyes were glued to Lily, whose innocent smile felt like a distant echo of all they shared, the whispered dreams, bedtime stories, and endless love. Before he could gather his thoughts, he caught sight of Jake approaching Lily with a hand-carved wooden heart. The sincerity in Jake's eyes felt genuine, a beacon of hope amidst Tom's turmoil. But still, a nagging fear crept in. Would this boy be worthy of Lily's heart? Would he uphold the values Tom cherished, bringing her the love and respect she deserved? In that fleeting moment of clarity, Tom's heart raced. The world around him faded into a blur again, the buzz of chatter and laughter turning into distant sounds. Was he truly prepared to let her take this leap toward independence? Memories poured over him: family dinners, whispered fears about school, mom's hugs, and the unwavering bond they'd built. Could he just stand there and watch his daughter step into a future he wasn't ready to fathom? Just as doubt swirled, a voice cut through, pulling him back. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Suddenly, Tom scanned the room, trying to catch a glimpse of Lily's happiness through the haze of his fears. He needed to protect her, but how? Watching Jake offer the wooden heart, Tom felt a flicker of hope. Would this boy cherish Lily's spirit as fiercely as he did? The storm clouds brewing in the distance mirrored the turmoil within him, leaving his heart racing with a mixture of urgency and love. With the crowd in anticipation, the air thick with possibilities and uncertainty, Tom realized he stood at a crossroads, the space between letting go and holding on. Would he be able to navigate this uncharted territory? Would he embrace the changes, or would he let fear dictate his response? As darkness began to roll in, he clung to the thought that tomorrow could bring clarity or perhaps more questions. Would he fight for the bond they built, or let it slip away in the name of independence? Tom stood frozen, a thousand thoughts swirling in his mind as if the very air around him crackled with electric tension. He watched Lily shine on that stage, captivated yet terrified. How could his little girl, who had once believed in the magic of fairy tales and dreams, be standing there, ready to step into a world that felt far too grown up for her? Jake, with his awkward charm and hopeful smile, seemed so earnest at that moment. Tom had seen how sweetly Jake treated Lily, sharing snacks, helping with homework, and always making her laugh. But was that enough? Was a short-lived crush really what they were talking about? "Lily!" He finally managed to call out, his voice emerging with unexpected strength. "Can we talk about this? Right now?" The crowd shifted as a hush fell over the onlookers. They sensed the gravity of the moment, their eyes darting between father and daughter. Lily's smile faltered, but her determination shone through. "Dad, please. I love him. We can take it seriously. Just like you and Mom did." The mention of his late wife struck Tom like a punch to the gut. Memories of warm family nights filled with laughter collided with the bitter pain of loss. Could he truly compare those feelings of genuine partnership and commitment to this childhood fling? "Sweetheart," he began, searching for the right words, "love is about trust, respect, and understanding. It's a big deal, not just a game." "But Dad," she protested, stepping forward, her young face filled with defiance and desperation. "You don't get it. This is my choice, my heart. I want it to be real." Feeling the eyes of the community pierce through him, Tom wrestled with emotions. He wanted to shield her from heartache, to protect her, but perhaps this was his moment to do something different. "All right," he said at last, the decision both terrifying and liberating. "But if we're going to talk about love, we need to talk about what it really means. You and Jake can start by joining us for dinner this weekend. How's that sound?" The crowd let out a collective gasp, a mixture of shock and relief buzzing through the murmurs. Lily's eyes widened, hope flickering back to life. "Really? You mean it?" "Yeah, really," he replied, feeling as if he was stepping into new territory, one filled with uncertainty but also potential. "If this is more than just a crush, then let us see what it looks like." Jake nodded, a shy smile forming. The weight lifted slightly from Tom's shoulders, replaced by a sense of cautious optimism. Perhaps this conversation could lead to understanding, perhaps it would deepen their bond, not lessen it. As Tom glanced around, he noticed nods of approval from friends, sympathy from some, and a few surprised looks. That was all right. This was his family's journey, and he aimed to navigate it as best he could, yet as the day wore on, dark clouds still loomed over him. Questions lingered about what this future held. Would dinner be enough? What would happen if Lily's heart was truly fragile? With the festival lighting up around him, Tom's heart once again raced. Tomorrow they'd face the truth together about love, independence, and the delicate balance of holding on versus letting go. But something whispered to him as he cleared his throat, looking at the stage where Lily shone so brightly just moments before. What if this weekend revealed something even deeper, something about himself he had yet to confront? The thought settled in his mind, a whisper heralding change. What was he truly ready to face? The evening air was thick with anticipation as Tom wandered around his kitchen, the aroma of grilled chicken mingling with spices, a faint reminder of family dinners past. He glanced at the clock, its hands ticking down the minutes until Jake and Lily would arrive. There was a nervous energy buzzing in his chest. What exactly was he supposed to say? Part of him felt like he was about to open a door he wasn't sure he wanted to be on the other side of. He could hear Lily's laughter from the living room as she set the table with playful chatter. It warmed him, yet it also twisted his heart. In that laughter, he could hear the echoes of days gone by, the times when she ran to him after a fall, seeking comfort. Now she was stepping into a world of her own, one he couldn't protect her from forever, no matter how desperately he wanted to. Jake arrived just as they finished setting the table, his hands shoved in the pockets of his jeans, his nervousness palpable. "Thanks for having me over, Mr. Thompson," he said, glancing at Lily, who beamed at him. "Just Tom's fine," Tom replied, forcing a smile. "Sit down. Dinner will be ready in a moment." As they all settled around the table, they exchanged small talk. Tom watched them, their youthful excitement lighting up the room. He tried to engage, joining in on the conversations about school, friends, and the mundane things that naturally intertwined their lives. Yet he couldn't shake the rising tide of his own anxieties. "Lily tells me you both performed at the festival," Tom started, breaking the slight tension. "How was it?" "It was amazing. The crowd was so into it," Jake replied, his eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "And Lily, she really knows how to own the stage." Lily blushed, looking away, but Tom saw the flicker of pride in her eyes. "Thanks, Jake. You were awesome too, she added, and for a moment, everything felt perfect. But with every laugh shared, Tom's mind kept drifting further back to his wife, to moments spent together as a family. He missed those days, the simplicity of them. The ease that came before loss. He wondered if Lily could truly understand the depth of what she was asking for with Jake. As the plates were cleared and dessert was served, Tom felt the time had come for the serious talk. So, he ventured cautiously, let us talk about what it means to be together, what this relationship really is. The chatter stopped, replaced by a stillness that felt like a tense string pulled tight. Dad, I know what love is, Lily said, her tone firm. It's not just a game to me. Jake nodded in agreement, his expression earnest. I'm serious about Lily. I care about her. I just want her to be happy. Tom felt a rush of warmth, mixed with apprehension. The innocence of their words sat against the backdrop of his protective instincts, and it hit him like a wave. He wasn't just dealing with Lily growing up, he was standing at a crossroads of time, facing the inevitable. Okay, Tom said slowly, but love is also about knowing each other as families, boundaries, and responsibilities. You need to talk about the hard stuff too. Lily's eyes softened, yet there was a challenge in them. We can do that, Dad. We're ready. The conversation deepened, weaving through uncharted territory. They spoke about support, trust, and the ups and downs of relationships. Watching Lily and Jake open up together made Tom's heart swell, but where was the line between giving her wings and watching her fly too high? As they finally leaned back, the room was filled with silence, save for the occasional clink of dishes. Tom's heart was heavy with the knowledge that every moment they discussed brought them closer, yet pushed them further from the little girl he once knew. As the night wore on, he realized he wasn't just preparing Lily for life outside, he was also preparing himself. But just as he gathered his thoughts, the doorbell rang again. Confusion washed over his features. Who could that be? Lily's face turned pale, and panic flickered in her eyes. Dad, it's not supposed to be Jake, did you invite anyone? Tom's heart raced. Could it be more than just their simple dinner? What would happen now? Tom's stomach tied itself in knots as he exchanged quick glances with Lily and Jake. The doorbell rang again, more insistent this time, and Tom could see the worry dancing in Lily's eyes. Stay here, he said, trying to sound more authoritative than he felt as he made his way toward the door. He wiped his palms on his jeans, his heart pounding in his ears. What if it was someone from school? A classmate? Or worse, someone who knew about the dinner and had come to judge. He opened the door cautiously, and standing there was a figure he hadn't expected. It was Mark, his old friend and Lily's godfather. Tom's heart sank immediately as he took in Mark's serious expression. Hey, Tom, Mark said, his smile faltering as he glanced inside. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Tom stood frozen for a moment, trying to process the significance of Mark's presence. Mark? What are you doing here? I got a call from Lily. She was worried about something. Mark's gaze shifted to where Lily peered from behind Tom, her face a mask of concern. Can I come in? Tom stepped aside, allowing Mark to enter, his mind racing. The atmosphere shifted, the cozy evening feeling abruptly disrupted. Everything all right? Mark asked, casually but with an underlying tension. Yeah, just hanging out. Dinner with Jake, Tom replied, his voice flat. He glanced back at Lily, who had stepped closer to Jake. The two teenagers shared an anxious look. Mark's eyes softened as they landed on Lily. You okay, kiddo? He asked, kneeling to her height. But it was the worry in her expression that choked the air around them. Just a little freaked out, Lily admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Jake and I were just talking about everything. Mark nodded knowingly, the corners of his mouth turning up slightly. That's good, that's really good. Talking helps. Tom felt a wave of annoyance wash over him. Did Mark really think that was the solution? It's just a dinner, Tom said, trying to regain control. Nothing serious. Mark straightened, his eyes firm on Tom's. Is it? Tom swallowed hard. Mark had a way of seeing past his facade. He heard the edge in his own voice. We were talking about relationships, I know. But it's more than that, isn't it? It's about Lily growing up. Mark turned back to Lily, who was now fidgeting with her fingers, a storm of emotion simmering just beneath her surface. It's a big step, darling. Just make sure you're ready for whatever comes next. The silence weighed heavily in the air, thick with unspoken fears and expectations. Tom watched as Lily's face fell, as if she could sense the shift in the gravity of the conversation. She looked to Jake, seeking solace. Were they even aware of how deep this was all getting? Dad, I want this, she spoke suddenly, her voice steadier than Tom felt. Jake is good for me. Can't we just be normal? Normal? Tom echoed incredulously, the conflict inside him tearing at his resolve. Lily, you're 12. You don't know what normal is not yet. I do. She snapped back, her frustration spilling over. You're the one who doesn't see me. I'm not a kid anymore. As the chasm between them widened, the tension was almost unbearable. Tom felt an unsettling shift within him, the realization that he might not only lose his daughter but lose the ability to guide her in the life he dreamed for her. Mark glanced from Tom to Lily, sensing the conflict. Maybe we should take a breather, he suggested gently. Tom nodded, his heart racing. Outside, the cool evening breeze whispered promises of change he wasn't ready for. He couldn't shake the uncertainty building in his gut, but in that moment, as silence settled over the three of them, something was clear. The path ahead wouldn't be easy, and the decisions they would all face would change their lives forever. Just as Tom gathered his thoughts, the phone rang, slicing through the tension like a knife. He wiped sweaty palms on his jeans again, already feeling that familiar unease. What now? He wondered aloud, unsure of what this call might bring. Would it be a friendly voice, or would it pull him deeper into the whirlwind of emotions threatening to unravel everything he'd ever held dear? Tom's heart raced as he reached for the phone. The shrill ring echoed in the room, an unwelcome reminder that life continued, regardless of their fraught discussion. He cradled the phone in his hand, glancing at Mark and then at Lily, whose anxious eyes watched him intently. What do you want me to say? Tom thought, frustration bubbling just below his calm exterior. He took a deep breath, trying to shake the heaviness that had settled around them. Hello? He said, voice steady despite the storm in his chest. Tom. The voice on the other end was frantic. It was Sarah, his sister. It's Mom. She's in the hospital. You need to come now. The world tilted under Tom's feet. He felt dizzy as reality settled in. His mother had been unwell for a while, but this? This felt serious. He looked back at Lily, who had quietly approached. There was a look of concern on her face that shook him to the core. It wasn't just about her growing up or her dinner plans, it was about something far more fragile. They were all connected in this spin of life, each thread woven tightly together. He stammered, searching for the right words, but nothing came. What could he say that would reassure her? She was already shifting, panic tightening her small frame. I'll be there as soon as I can, okay? He finally managed to say into the phone. Mark stepped closer, sensing the gravity of the situation. Is everything all right? He asked quietly. She's in the hospital, Tom said, his voice strained. Mom, I have to go. He felt his throat tighten as he struggled to maintain his composure. Lily widened her eyes, innocent but piercing. Can I come with you? No. The word slipped out before he could stop it. It felt wrong, foreshadowing an even heavier weight ahead. No, sweetie, it's not a place for you. I'll take care of this. Tom saw her disappointment flicker like a candle's flame. The desire to protect her clawed at him. A mix of everything swirled in the air, anger at himself for shutting her out, worry for his mother, and guilt for the escalating fight they had just been having. Please, Dad. Lily's small voice trembled. I can help you. I can be strong. Just let me be there. Mark put a hand on Tom's shoulder, steadying him. Let her come, Tom. She needs to be part of this. You all do. Tom caught the edge of Mark's gaze, the reassurance it offered. There was wisdom in Mark's words. He had seen life in its raw form, the joy and heartbreak, both. Tom looked back at Lily, who held his gaze, her determination cutting through the haze of fear. Could he really deny her this opportunity to stand by him? To learn, to confront the realness of life together? Swallowing hard, he sighed. All right. But just stay close to me. Lily nodded, her face lighting up with relief. She grabbed her jacket, and in that moment, Tom felt the sparks of vulnerability and strength intertwine within him. This wasn't just about his mother, it was about showing Lily that she could be part of everything, the hard times and the good. As they headed for the door, Tom glanced back at Mark, who smiled softly. I'll hold down the fort here, he said, confidence radiating off him. Call me with updates. With a final glance at the familiar walls of their home, Tom stepped outside, the twilight air wrapping around them like a comforting blanket. He couldn't shake the dread building inside, but he refused to let it overshadow the bond they were nurturing. They slid into the car, the engine purring to life just outside their own world. Dad? Yeah? He replied, feeling the weight of her eyes on him as they rounded the street corner. Do you think Grandma will be okay? There was hope in her voice and innocence that hollowed him out. I think she will be, kiddo. We'll be there for her together, remember? But even as he said it, the uncertainty gnawed at him. As they pulled away, a thought echoed in Tom's mind: what would life throw at them next? The road ahead loomed long and uncertain, but right there, in that moment, he realized they would conquer it together. And maybe, just maybe, it was moments like this that formed a new kind of normal. But as uncertainty mingled with the peace of their connection, he couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper awaited them. Just then, the phone buzzed in his pocket, startling him. It was a text message. What now? And who could it be? Tom felt his heart race again, this time for a different reason. He fished the phone out of his pocket with a trembling hand, glancing at Lily, who was shifting in her seat, her curiosity evident. The screen lit up with a message from Sarah. Mom is stable but confused. You need to hurry. He wished for clarity in her words, that they would ease the burden pressing down on his chest. Instead, it only deepened the unease that had tangled itself around his heart. He quickly typed back, "We're on our way," and threw the phone onto the dashboard. Dad? What does that mean? Lily's voice broke through his thoughts. There was a raw honesty to her inquiry that shook him. Just some things we have to handle. It'll be all right. He forced a smile, but it felt thin, like a fragile layer of ice on a lake that could crack at any moment. The drive was filled with an uncomfortable silence, punctuated only by the sounds of tires on asphalt and the occasional whir of passing cars. Tom's mind raced with jumbled thoughts, memories of her laughter, the sound of her voice on the phone during their long talks, the way she always seemed to know what he needed before he did. Do you think Grandma is scared? Lily asked, her eyes fixed out the window, where trees blurred into shadows. I think she might be, but that's okay. We'll be there. Being together can make a big difference. He glanced at her, admiring the way her brows knitted together and thought a reflection of him, searching for answers. At a stoplight, he saw her small hands wringing in her lap, a sign of her nervousness. Reaching over, he touched her shoulder, giving it a reassuring squeeze. You're doing great, kiddo. Just hang in there. When they pulled into the hospital parking lot, the fluorescent lights cast a harsh glow, making everything feel surreal: the bright white walls and the bustle of people moving in and out. The scent of antiseptic lingered in the air, an unwelcome reminder of vulnerability. Dad, what if she doesn't remember me? Lily's voice trembled as they walked toward the entrance. Tom could see the shadow of fear creeping into her expression. She will, he said firmly, determined to bolster both their spirits. It's Grandma. There's no way she could forget her favorite granddaughter. They stepped inside, the sound of shoes clicking on the tiled floor echoing around them. Tom stopped in front of the reception desk, his heart pounding again, this time with the weight of anticipation. As he spoke to the nurse on shift, Lily stood close by, her small figure steady against the uncertainty swirling around them. Tom felt a gentle tug at his sleeve, and he turned to see Lily's face, drawn tight with concern. Will she be okay? He opened his mouth, but the truth felt heavier than he could voice. I hope so, we're here for her. That counts for something. The nurse, sensing their unease, smiled warmly. She is stable, and the doctors are taking good care of her. You can see her shortly. Why don't you both take a moment, breathe? Tom watched Lily's expression shift from worry to relief, and for just a moment, everything felt right again. They moved to a waiting area, and as they settled on a cold metal bench, he found himself grateful for her presence. They sat in silence, but the subtle strength of their shared purpose filled the air. Then, as if echoing the uncertainty of the situation, his phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't just a message, it was a call. Glancing at the screen, his heart dropped. It was his mother's doctor. He hesitated, fear coursing through him. What could this mean? Dad? Lily's eyes were wide, mirroring his own feelings of dread. He let out a shaky breath. I don't know what they want to tell me. As he stood to answer the call, a myriad of thoughts overflowed in his mind. What awaited him on the other end? Would he have answers or more questions? And as concern tightened around his heart, he couldn't shake the sense that this moment was just the beginning of an even deeper journey, one that would test the very fabric of their lives together. With a trembling hand, he pressed the phone to his ear, bracing himself for whatever was to come. Hello, Tom. This is Dr. Martinez, came the calm yet firm voice on the line. Is my mom okay? Tom jumped straight in, urgency weaving through his words. Dr. Martinez paused, and that moment felt like an eternity. It's complicated. She is physically stable, but there are some cognitive concerns we need to discuss. His sense of dread deepened. What do you mean? She is experiencing confusion, particularly about recent events and people. Some memory loss is also present. There was a weight in her tone that suggested more was coming. Tom felt the ground shift beneath him. Every second spent grappling with this news felt like losing a part of himself, part of the vibrant family tapestry woven over the years, every thread significant. Can you tell me more? Does she recognize me? Lily? Recognition might be an issue, Tom. It's not uncommon after certain medical events. But we will work through this, she reassured. He swallowed, trying to trap the rising panic. What do you mean work through this? There are methods to help her regain some memories, and support for both of you will be important. He could hear Lily's soft voice in the distance asking if everything was all right. The thought of her watching him fall apart frightened him. Will she be herself again? I can't promise anything, but with patience, love, and support, there's a chance. Tom exhaled. Love and patience, a family's foundation. It was what he needed to cling to right now. Okay, he whispered, gripping the phone tightly. Can you bring Lily in? I believe seeing her might help. Some familiarity could spark a memory or two. As he stepped away from the waiting area, Tom glanced at Lily, who was nervously tapping her feet on the floor, her brows knitting in worry. He'd have to share this weight with her now. Dad? She called softly, sensing the shift in his demeanor. What did the doctor say? Let us go see Grandma. She needs us both, all right? Lily nodded, but he could see the flicker of anguish in her eyes as she stood, unsure of what awaited them in that room. They walked down the bright hospital corridor, the fluorescent lights buzzing softly above them. Tom's mind rehearsed the words he wanted to say, but nothing felt right. Could he express the confusion and fear that swirled within him? As they approached the door, a sudden shot of warmth surged through him, reminding him of all the moments spent at her kitchen table, the aroma of fresh coffee and laughter. That was the grandma he knew. Lily squeezed his hand tighter. Do you think we can help her remember? I hope so, Lily. Sometimes, the heart knows what the mind can't. He pushed the door open, and the stark hospital room came into view. There she lay, his mother, the heartbeat of their family. The sight of her small frame made the reality hit hard. She was so frail, yet he could still see glimpses of the woman who had guided him through life. "Mom?" he said gently as he stepped in. Her eyes fluttered open, but confusion clouded them. It was that moment he realized they needed each other now more than ever. "Who are you?" she whispered, her voice barely audible. Tom's heart sank. It felt as though the ground had dropped away, leaving only an abyss. Lily's grip tightened, and he struggled to keep himself together in that fierce swirl of emotions. "We're here, Mom. It's us. Your family." Tears pricked the edges of his eyes, and for a fleeting moment, he thought about losing the very essence of who she was. But even in that uncertainty, he felt a flicker of hope ignite. Can we remember?" Lily's voice trembled as she steadied herself. As his mother shifted her gaze towards them, something flickered behind her eyes. Did he just see a hint of recognition? At that moment, he understood the journey they were on was just beginning, filled with both fear and a steadfast promise of love. "Please," he whispered, as if to the universe itself. "Let her remember." And then, he sensed an overwhelming need to grasp onto whatever spark still lingered within her. A moment of stillness enveloped them. Would they find what they were searching for? Would her heart remember what her mind tried to forget? Just as he was about to ask her a question, the monitor beside her began to beep erratically, jolting Tom with a new wave of anxiety. "Mom?" he called, panic seeping into his voice. What was happening now? Had they come too late, or would this be the turning point they so desperately needed? The beeping intensified, a chaotic symphony that lingered in the sterile air of the hospital room. Tom's heart raced as he instinctively moved closer to his mother, trying to decipher the flashing lights on the monitor. The uncertainty clawed at him, pulling in his stomach like a heavy stone. "Mom?" he repeated, desperation edging into his voice. "Can you hear me?" Lily stepped forward, her face pale but resolute. "Grandma, please, we're here for you." Her small voice cracked, but there was a fierce determination behind it. Tom admired her bravery, and it reignited a flicker of hope within him. His mother's eyes darted around the room, taking in the unfamiliar surroundings as if they were paintings in a museum. I don't understand," she murmured, her brow knitting in confusion. The flurry of nurses rushed in, voices blending together as they murmured instructions and concerns. One of them looked at Tom with a calm but assertive expression. "We need to stabilize her. Please step back for a moment." Tom felt a pang of helplessness but understood. He moved aside, reluctantly separating himself from his mother. Watching as they tended to her was agonizing. So fragile, Tom thought, feeling the weight of the world press down on his shoulders. All those moments shared, the laughter, the lessons, the warmth of her embrace felt so far away, a lifetime ago. Would they ever return? "Dad," Lily whispered, clutching his hand. He could feel her trembling. What if she doesn't get better? He forced a smile, practicing the optimism he desperately wanted to believe. "She's strong, Lily. She's always been." But even as he reassured his daughter, doubt gnawed at him. What if the memories they cherished were slipping away forever? The nurses assembled their equipment, focusing entirely on his mother. He watched, heart pounding, as they checked her vitals and asked her questions. "Can you tell us your name?" one nurse prompted gently. His mother looked bewildered and struggled as though the question were in another language. "Tom, I'm Tom. Your son." He struggled to keep the quiver from his voice as he clung to the idea that she might latch onto his words. "Mom," Lily called softly, and Tom could see the shimmer of tears in her eyes. His mother's gaze fluttered, softening at the sound of Lily's voice. For an instant, it seemed like she was trying to piece it all together. Then, the moment vanished, replaced by confusion once more. "Do I know you?" Tom squeezed Lily's hand. A deep sadness washed over them, something they both felt but couldn't articulate. Would she ever remember them? As the commotion faded and the nurses finished their checks, one nurse turned to him. "We need to continue monitoring her, but she appears stable for now." Tom nodded, lost in the tumult of emotions warring within him. He wanted to reach back into the past and pull his mother's memories forward, take hold of the vibrant woman she had always been. "Let us talk to her, Dad. Maybe she'll remember if we remind her," Lily suggested, her voice steadier than he felt. Yes. Yes, that's a good idea." Tom took a deep breath, refocusing his own energy. He approached the bed again, determination rising within him. Sprinkling words of love and recollections of joyful family moments into the air, he hoped something would resonate. "Mom, remember the summer picnics at the lake?" Tom began. "The stories you used to tell us? How you caught that giant trout?" He watched for any flicker, any sign that those memories might stir beneath the surface. But all he saw was a searching blankness in her eyes. Just when he felt the crushing weight of despair returning, a spark ignited again. "Mom, it's me. Remember when you baked cookies with Lily? How we decorated the tree last Christmas?" And then, as if a door just slightly cracked open, he saw a hint of recognition pass across her face, a furtive flicker that filled him with longing. "Christmas cookies," she muttered almost to herself, her fingers twitched slightly. Lily leaned in closer, her eyes bright with hope. "Yes. We've got to tell her more." Would they uncover even a fragment of her old self? Would she remember the love and laughter that had shaped their world? As they both leaned in, eager to pry open the vault of memories locked away inside her, another machine in the corner buzzed to life, and Tom froze. The doctor returned, urgency etched on her face. "Tom, we need to talk," she said, drawing him away with a sense of dread curling in his stomach. What was it now? Were they losing her just as they were trying to find her? In that moment, a single thought consumed him: could hope still shine brighter amid the shadows of uncertainty? As the doctor led Tom away, the hospital room felt miles away, filled with the frantic pulse of machines and the raw anxiety that had taken root in his mind. He wanted to scream, to shout for someone to tell him everything was going to be okay. It seemed selfish to think of his own fear while Lily was back there, fighting to bring her grandma back to life through memories. "Tom," the doctor began, her voice steady but softening as her eyes met his. "I know this is overwhelming. But I need to discuss your mother's condition with you." He nodded, barely comprehending the weight of her words. The sterile walls of the hospital blinked like the lights on the monitors. The air felt heavy, suffocating almost, as if every breath carried his worry. "She's stable, but we are concerned about her cognitive responses," the doctor continued, her gaze unwavering. "It might take time." Tom interrupted, unable to hide the quaver in his voice. "How long? What if she never comes back to us?" The questions erupted like a dam bursting, fueled by sleepless nights and the unseen shadows of anxiety. "We just don't know," she said gently. "It's crucial for you and your daughter to engage with her. Familiar voices and memories can play a significant role in her recovery." He nodded slowly, taking in her words like a lifeline thrown in turbulent waters. The urgency behind her statement settled like a blanket over him. His mind raced back to the bedside where Lily was waiting, her heart full of hope, her courage an unwavering force. "Thanks," he murmured, the heaviness in his chest lightening just a fraction. "I need to get back to her." As he walked back to the room, he could see Lily still leaning over her grandmother's bed. Her small hand gripped Tom's mother's, a lifeline of its own. The moment held within it both tenderness and a tremor of fear, two sides of a coin struggling against the weight of uncertainty. "Did she say anything?" Lily asked, her voice barely above a whisper, laced with both hope and worry. "Not yet. But we'll keep trying," he assured her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders, giving her the comfort he was desperately trying to create within himself. They both turned to his mother now, their faces lit by a fragile light, a flicker of a smile he was still trying to find their way back to. Tom took a steadying breath, telling himself that he'd do whatever it took. "Mom, let us talk about the trip to Disneyland," Tom began, his voice a soothing echo in the room. "You remember how excited you were to see the fireworks?" He watched her closely, hoping to see that spark of recognition. Lily chimed in, her voice bolstered with enthusiasm. You danced with me in front of the castle. I wore that silly tiara. There was longing and desperation in her words, and Tom could see the way his mother's expression shifted slightly, a flicker of interest, a shadow of awareness. Fireworks, tiara, his mother murmured, a slight crinkle forming on her brow. It was as if fragments of an old film were playing, and Tom dared to hope that the reel would soon catch again, spinning into clarity. Those fireworks were beautiful, Mom, Tom encouraged. Just like the love we share. He held his breath, straining to catch any hint of connection. Long minutes stretched as they spoke of more cherished memories, their family road trips, the Christmas traditions, every little detail designed to weave a tapestry of familiarity and warmth. Then came a moment, an eternity of silence held together by strands of hope, where her eyes glimmered. I remember fireworks. That echo bounced within Tom's chest like a heartbeat, and he felt Lily's fingers squeeze tighter around his. See, Dad? She whispered, her voice thick with emotion. She's coming back. But before they could dive deeper into this fragile breakthrough, a doctor appeared in the doorway, expression grave. Tom, we need you to step out for a moment. It's urgent. His stomach twisted again, dread mingling with hope. What was this urgency? As he looked back at Lily's anxious face, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was a turning point. Would they keep going forward, or would they face another setback? What lay beyond those sterile walls, and would it bring a new dawn, or more darkness? The desire to reach for clarity was palpable, yet it felt as slippery as smoke. As Tom stepped outside with the doctor, one thought filled his heart: what was waiting on the other side of this door? Tom stepped into the crisp, sterile hallway, anxiety swirling in his gut. The doctor's expression was serious, and the weight of uncertainty crashed down on him like a wave. He could feel Lily's gaze following him, a mix of worry and anticipation. What more news could he handle? Tom, the doctor began, her voice calm yet firm, your mother is showing signs of response, but we need to closely monitor her condition. There are still many uncertainties. He nodded, allowing her words to wash over him. Stability. Response. Those words felt both distant and achingly close. What can we do? How can we help her? Continue engaging her with familiar memories, she instructed. People she loves, interactions that spark a sense of safety and recognition. It's vital. Thank you, he murmured, his heart edging forward with hope. As he turned back to the room, he caught Lily's anxious expression. Dad, what did they say? Just that we need to keep talking to her, Lily. Continue sharing our memories, he replied, feeling a flicker of determination ignite. Let us go back in. Re-entering the room felt like stepping into a sacred space where past and present could collide. There she lay, his mother, with her familiar frame a thread connecting the love they all shared. Tom felt the warmth of hope intertwine with the fear of loss. Mom, look what we have, he began, holding up a small photo book they had created together. Remember this? He opened it to the first page, a snapshot of their family holiday, all smiles and laughter. Lily chimed in excitedly, you made Grandma laugh so hard, Dad. Remember that? We all fell over in a pile of snow pretending to be penguins. They heard a slight whisper of amusement escape his mother's lips, a fleeting flicker of life he held on to, clinging to the moment with everything in him. Yes, he recalled, delight blooming within him. And you, sweetie, were the best penguin. Tom continued flipping through the pages, sharing stories, laughter, and moments knitted together through time. Each memory felt like a bridge, carrying them closer to the heart of the woman he loved. Slowly, softness returned to her gaze. Penguins, we laughed together, she mumbled, as if harmony began to resolve the tangle of confusion in her mind. Yes, Mom. We did. Tom's voice trembled with emotion. And we'll laugh together again. Just like always. In that moment, clarity pulsed through the air. It wasn't just about remembering, it was about love and connection, about reassuring her that she was anchored in familiarity. We're here, and we love you," Lily added, her voice full of conviction. "You're not alone, Grandma. We'll get through this." Tom watched in awe as his mother's eyes sparkled, a hint of recognition emerging brightly. She turned her head slightly, a soft smile breaking the cloud of confusion. "You my family." Tom held his breath, tears pooling in his eyes. "Yes, Mom. Your family. Please remember us." Then suddenly, the room filled with a vibrant energy. It was as if a curtain lifted, revealing light and warmth that had been tucked away. The monitor beeped steadily, a reassuring rhythm matching his heartbeat. "I love you all," his mother murmured, her voice still frail but stronger than before. Lily moved closer, gripping her grandmother's hand with fierce determination. "See, Dad? She's coming back to us." And in that moment, Tom understood that they had embarked on a journey of healing. It wouldn't be without struggles, but they would face them all together. Hope surged through him as he slowly sank into a chair beside Lily, cradling her small hand in his. "Together," he repeated, linking arms with the strength of their bond. They would navigate these rough waters, no longer alone. As they shared stories, laughter, and love, the shadow of fear receded. The light of connection surged forward, illuminating their path. Yes, they were still on this journey, but now it was infused with heart and reliance on one another. Outside, the sun began to rise, casting golden hues through the window. A new day, a new beginning. In this sacred space, Tom realized something transformative. His daughter was not only growing up, she was helping him learn to embrace the inevitable changes with grace. They were more than a family, they were a force woven together, capable of weathering any storm. As love enveloped them, Tom quietly vowed to hold on to the joy they'd found again and nurture the echoes of memories still blooming in their hearts. This was their moment, a chapter unfolding beautifully. Tom looked at Lily, her beaming smile reflecting the warmth of their hearts. Together, they had initiated change and transformation. In the face of uncertainty, they had chosen connection. And just as past memories had been keys to unlock hope, this newfound strength promised bright tomorrows and endless possibilities. Now remember, if you've loved this journey we've shared and want to see more inspiring stories, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support and not miss out. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and grow our community. Comment your feelings about this ending and what it means to you because we want to hear your thoughts. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us spread the love and inspiration together.